A man collecting garbage in the woods encounters a monster, and immediately starts running. However, the monster chases after him, leaps and tackles the man to devour him. Surprisingly, under the sunlight, the entire humanoid monster explodes, and its viscous blood quickly enters the man's eyes. At this time, South Korea is secretly advancing the Tyrant Plan, focusing on developing superhuman genetic drugs. The final sample of its core technology disappears suddenly due to a delivery mishap, prompting a raid by the intelligence agency on the factory yesterday. Dr. Jonas' team and researchers are currently detained, and the sample was undoubtedly taken by the intelligence agency. Director Choi Guk-jang, who belongs to the National Authority, is the mastermind behind the entire Tyrant Plan. In order to reclaim the sample, he arrives at the meeting point in the deep alley, and meets with the intermediary codenamed Madam. However, the intermediary informs him that they can no longer provide information, as their planted antennas have been removed. A package sent by the Japanese primary group, handled by the Croc assassins, contains a humanoid head with antennas inside. The final information in Madam's hands reveals that the primary group purchased a Swedish-made portable safe, with intricate construction that only Mr. Kai's daughter, a girl with schizophrenia, and an alter ego of a twin brother, can unlock. At that moment, sounds of fighting echo through the street. Realizing her imminent death, Madam bids a dignified farewell to Choi Guk-jang. Soon after, assassins break in from outside. Madam's female bodyguard draws her dual swords, facing this inevitable battle. Shortly after, a man named Yen Moyon locates Mr. Kai's daughter, Kai Zijing, and asks her to intercept the Swedish-made safe. The escort team consists of around 10 guards, leaving Zijing with only a 5 to 10 minute window. However, Yen Moyon offers a generous reward, yet Zijing is reluctant to take on the task, because Yen Moyon is a double agent for the intelligence agency. Yen Moyon can only increase the reward. He is willing to pay double the fee plus a bonus. Eventually, Zijing is convinced to accept. That night, she single-handedly took down the escort team, and successfully obtained the safe. Yen Moyon unexpectedly shot Zijing, and threw her into the dam, where it releases 1,500 tons of water per second, making survival impossible for anyone. Zijing, being a product of the Tyrant Plan, cannot be easily washed away by the dam. Sitting on the bank, she retrieves a vial from her pocket, likely the last sample. At that moment, two kidnappers with a girl in tow stop by the roadside, and the driver gets out of the car to smoke. Suddenly, he hears footsteps approaching. Before he can react, he sees Zijing standing before him. She casually picks up a tree branch, and stabs the kidnapper to death. The people in the car, upon seeing their companion in trouble, immediately rush out to check, while Zijing drives off in their vehicle. The girl hidden in the backseat lifts her head, as Zijing returns to the scene, and charges towards the remaining kidnapper. Continuing, she walks up to the criminal, kills him with her own hands, and the girl in the backseat quickly climbs out to escape, as Zijing drives away. She picks up the phone from under the seat, examines it for fingerprints, unlocks it, and makes a call. On the other side, the National Intelligence Agency learns about the hijacked goods. They suspect it was orchestrated by Choi Guk-jang, but lacking evidence, they can only probe his associates. Meanwhile, Yen Moyong did hand over the sample box to Choi Guk-jang's men, and immediately dispatched an extermination team to eliminate those involved in the mission.
짐들 챙겨라! 우리 잠수 타야겠다.
In the Philippines, on Luzon Island, a Korean man named Paul, who flaunts his English skills, is observing the experiments of the Tyrant Plan. This new serum does not need to be directly administered to the brain. It can be activated through the skin or mucous membranes. Paul decides to return to Korea. At the same time, a man named Lin Shang arrives in Shinping village to investigate the uncle who claims to have been attacked by a monster. At this moment, the uncle lies wide-eyed on the bed, while his wife attends to Lin Shang. Due to a banner advertising hot spring tourism at the village entrance, Lin Shang curiously asks a few questions. The village woman explains that someone sponsored them for a hot spring vacation, and if it weren't for her husband's poor health, she would have gone along too. Next, the village woman inquires about the compensation for cooperating with the visit. Lin Shang responds that it depends on the content of the interview. He cheerfully opens a video of a human experiment, and asks the uncle if he has seen this thing. The uncle's pupils dilate, and his throat emits a terrified roar.
오셨구나.
Lin Shang gears up, then takes out a silenced gun to shoot the village woman, followed by blowing up the uncle's eyes to kill him. Lin Shang's movements are skillful, as if he deals with such situations regularly. After killing the victims, he sets a fire to destroy the bodies and any evidence. Just before leaving, Lin Shang receives a picture sent by the intelligence agency, showing Yen Moyong and his men. On the other side, in an underground workshop in Seoul, a doctor is tending to Zijing's wounds, while she remains under anesthesia. Not yet awake, the doctor takes the money pouch from the table along with the vial wrapped in leather containing the reagent. He sits at the outdoor desk smoking, and then calls a person named Mr. Shang, mentioning that Kai Zijing is at his clinic. Wasn't there a bounty on her capture? This time, maybe there's a big profit to be made. The plot here is quite jumpy. In the previous scene, Zijing took a phone call, but in the next shot, she's lying in the clinic. The news of Zijing being alive quickly reaches Choi Gukjang's hiding place. His trusted men immediately send someone to silence her, ensuring she is dealt with before the intelligence agency arrives. 10 minutes later, the doctor hears a knock on the door. Just as he was about to call Mr. Shang, he is killed with an axe. However, by the time the assassin enters the operating room, Zijing is already gone from the bed.
혹시 나 찾아왔냐?
Zijing wastes no time in talking, and immediately starts fighting. These people are no match for her. A burly man kicks Zijing down, and tries to overpower her with his size advantage. Unexpectedly, Zijing picks up a piece of glass from the ground, and forcefully stabs it into the burly man's neck. The assassin in the distance tries to struggle in his dying moments, but Zijing gets up and goes after him, leaving no room for escape. She simply washed the blood off her body. She found some clothes from the closet and changed into them. Then he took the reagents on the table and left, but not yet waiting for her to come downstairs. Then she saw people from the intelligence bureau chasing after her. Zijing hides in the shadows, waits for the arrivals to go upstairs, then leaves through the back door. Taking advantage of a distracted truck driver nearby, she drives off in the assailant's vehicle.
놓쳤습니다.
제작에도 임과장 부처가냐?
While Choi is relentlessly pursuing Zijing, Lin Shang is searching worldwide for Yen Moyong and his henchman, Xiangzi. Despite being chased by someone, Xiangzi still finds time to gamble on horses. Just as Lin confirms his location, the intelligence agency uploads Zijing's photo. However, he decides to deal with his current situation first. Xiangzi got into the car happily after winning the money. He found out his girlfriend had already passed away. The next second Lin Shang choked him from the back seat. He threatened Xiangzi to drive the car out first. At the same time, the intelligence agency sends Director Shi to talk to Choi Guozhang, because he developed the serum without permission from the intelligence agency. Currently, the agency has taken over the factory, cutting off all financial flows into it, and Choi Guozhang and his subordinates must cooperate with the investigation. However, there is room for negotiation in this matter. As long as Choi Guozhang is willing to hand over the sample, no one will hold him accountable for this.
근데 뭘 믿고 이렇게 세게들 나오실까? 아, 스폰 붙었구나, 미국 애들. 헤드원, 폴크 새끼인가?
Choi Guozhang observes the expression of Director Shi, and knows he hasn't guessed wrong. The intelligence agency definitely wants to eliminate Choi Guozhang with the help of outsiders. Of course, as an exchange, they must also hand over the entire Tyrant plan to Paul so he can deliver it to the first unit. Choi Guozhang despises lapdogs working for the United States the most. He tells the intelligence agency to come back with solid evidence next time before disturbing him, or not to come at all. On Lin Shang's side, he is torturing Xiangzi in his own workshop, leaving Xiangzi physically mutilated and mentally distressed. Extracting a location from Xiangzi's mouth, Lin warns him not to play clever, as his family could also be implicated. Seeing that Xiangzi doesn't appear to be lying, Lin takes out a handgun and shoots him dead. Meanwhile, Choi Guozhang's subordinates are still working tirelessly to crack the code box. At this moment, the technicians notice something is amiss. The last few digits of the security code seem to have been reset. The login time settings do not match the other numbers, indicating that they have likely been manually altered. At this moment, the true culprit who had opened the box, Zijing, was driving a truck to find Yen Moyong. However, Yen had already packed up and left. Zijing used a paperclip to pick the lock, and entered the noodle shop opened by Yen Moyong. She noticed a vehicle approaching, so she concealed a kitchen knife in her pocket, avoided the police car at the door, and left from the side. Zijing carefully observed the vehicles on the road, and noticed a man in urgent need. He parked his car at the gas station to use the restroom. She took down a poster and walked over. When the man returned to his car, he found a poster stuck on it. He got out and tore the poster off. while Zijing slipped into the driver's seat and drove away. She drove the car to Incheon Nandong Park. She arrived outside a certain building, and knocked on the door forcefully. She called out a Russian man, and asked him if Han Xiong was present. As the man refused to cooperate, Zijing had to resort to using her fists to solve the problem, hitting the Russian man until he spoke.
형이 좋게 물어볼 때 좋게 대답을 해야지.
Zijing stepped over the body, and found Han Xiong. This burly man clearly recognized her power, and obeyed Zijing's commands. The foreigners nearby didn't know who Zijing was. Han Xiong introduced her as the daughter of the assassin Mr. Kai.
А тот дед разве не умер? Говорят, что где-то в цеху его перемолотило.
Fortunately, Zijing didn't understand English. She instructed Han Xiong to bring out the best gun, from which she picked one that suited her. Han Xiong realized that Zijing didn't intend to pay. He quietly hid a weapon in his chest. Zijing killed all the henchmen there, then shot at Han Xiong, and picked up the phone from the ground. Have Han Xiong call Yen Moyong. In the end, Han Xiong confessed that he wanted to kill Zijing not on Yen Moyong's orders, but on Mr. Shang's command, and Yen Moyong should be in Busan now. Zijing extracted the information she wanted, and killed Han Xiong. In Seoul, director Schur accompanied his immediate superior to meet the legendary Paul, who is the same Paul from the Philippines, and is likely a Korean American. Paul is extremely dissatisfied with the work of the intelligence agency. He provides information, resources, and even helps plan schedules, almost handing the credit to the director. However, the director still manages to mess things up. This kind of fool is no match for Cui Guozhang.
난 무능한 새끼들 딱지 쓰이거든. 근데 그거보다 더 최악인 게 뭔 줄 알아요? 무능한데 욕심은 더럽게 많은 새끼들.
In the end, Paul decided to personally deal with Cui Guozhang, true to his word. The next day, he found Cui Guozhang sketching in the park. After 10 years of not seeing each other, Cui Guozhang had been an exchange student in the United States, where he had met Paul. After exchanging pleasantries, Paul asked him to hand over a sample. Cui Guozhang suggested discussing in a different place. Paul took him to a secret room, and threw a list of names on the table. The people listed were all close associates of Cui Guozhang. Paul threatened that South Korea lacked the ability to handle such powerful mutant drugs, so he urged Cui Guozhang to hand over the sample before he got angry, or else everyone on the list would die. However, Cui Guozhang still refused to relent. Now, various countries are developing superhuman legions, and if he hands it over, it amounts to betraying the country. Just then, his subordinate came to inform Paul that they had found Yen Moyong. On the other side, Director Schur learned that Paul had taken action. He asked the chief, what exactly is the sample, and why are both sides willing to pay such a high price to seize it? The chief stated that Cui Guozhang had eliminated all evidence, including key personnel involved in the experiment, so he was also unaware of the specifics. However, hasn't the US Army developed a legion composed of superhumans? The director speculated that the sample was related to superhumans. Just then, Yen Moyong stormed into the intelligence agency cafeteria, accompanied by his subordinates, to ask questions.
합주하겠습니다. 야, 대신 전 이 일에서 좀 빼주시죠.
Director Schur sighed. It seems we can officially summon Cui Guozhang now. At the same time, Lin Shang has just walked out of the convenience store. A child bumped into him, causing him to drop the sausage in his hand. He muttered under his breath, picked it up, and continued eating, hiding the bamboo skewer in his sleeve. Lin Shang arrived at the address mentioned by Xiangzi. He took off his glasses, shouldered a heavy weapon to blast open the apartment door. Then, he stabbed the intruder in the eye with the bamboo skewer, launching a massacre inside the house. He pulled up a photo of Yen Moyong, and interrogated the man. Where is this person now? The man hurriedly explained that the boss only said he wanted to disappear from the world, and did not provide an address. Lin Shang shot and killed the man. At this moment, Zijing also arrived near the apartment. The personality of her twin brother suddenly emerged, insisting on asking a passerby for a cigarette. So when Zijing went upstairs, she happened to pass by Lin Shang, who was about to leave, and both of them almost stopped in their tracks simultaneously. Lin Shang found this face very familiar, as if he had seen it on a wanted poster just now.
그 혹시
아니 됐어. 조상심 관심 없거든.
Lin Shang felt like this young girl mistook him for a missionary. Lin Shang turned and walked away, hiding in the shadows. Conflicted, could he have mistaken the person? Lin Shang might have a bit of face blindness. He opened his phone and carefully double-checked. He realized that the new photo sent by the intelligence agency was of that girl. At that moment, Zijing was coming down the stairs, and Lin Shan was about to catch up, but he was bumped into by a few thugs. Perhaps Lin Shan appeared too much like an ordinary uncle, and the thugs, emboldened by their numbers, started trouble. Zijing was about to walk away when Lin Shan was dragged into the underground parking lot by the thugs. With no other choice, he had to kill them all. On the other side, Zijing arrived at Mr. Shang's office and laid out all her weapons on the table. Mr. Shang felt a headache. He pretended to search for a cigarette, intending to reach for the handgun in the drawer, only to realize that the bullets had been removed. Zijing demanded Mr. Shang reveal Yen Moyon's whereabouts, saying, "Don't think I don't know that you ordered my assassination." Mr. Shang awkwardly explained, "I received orders from higher-ups. The target isn't just you. They want to kill Yen Moyong too." Zijing asked, "Who exactly gave the orders?"
말하면 난 죽는다.
말 안 하면 지금 죽어.
Mr. Shang sighed and said, "This matter is a government agency's business." He was about to reveal the mastermind behind the scenes, when Zijing suddenly heard footsteps. The next moment, the door was blasted open, and Mr. Shang's head exploded on the spot. After a frenzy of gunfire, Zijing pushed open the office door. All the bodyguards in the corridor were shot dead. A gun was pressed against her temple, and Zijing smelled the blood on Lin Shang. She realized that the dead people in the Busan apartment were killed by him. Lin Shan was about to pull the trigger, but felt a chill below. It turned out that Zijing's gun was also aimed at him. The two are now mutually suppressing each other. Fighting desperately in the corridor, Zijing injured Lin Shang's knee, and also took a bullet in her arm. Both fell to the ground clutching their wounds, as their guns simultaneously ran out of bullets. Lin Shang reacted quickly, hiding in a nearby room, while Zijing picked up a bodyguard's gun, and fired wildly through the door. Lin Shan retrieved his weapon, and shot Zijing's arm again. They temporarily ceased fire, each tending to their wounds. As Lin Shan caught his breath, preparing for the next round, his phone suddenly rang.
아이고야.
왜 저거?
Lin Shan called for a truce, and asked Zijing to accompany him somewhere urgently. Mentioning that Mr. Yen Moyong had appeared, Zijing agreed to go with him, as their main objective was indeed to settle scores with Yen Moyong. Meanwhile, Director Shi was intercepted by Paul and his men during transport. A superhuman directly tore off the car roof, grabbed Yen Moyong by his hair, and dragged him out. Director Shi could only watch as Yen Moyong was taken away. Now, Paul, Yen Moyong, and Cui Guozhang finally gathered together. On the way, Yen Moyong was blaming Cui Guozhang for his treachery, sending people to chase him down. At this moment, Zijing and two others arrived. They just happened to see their convoy passing by. Zijing stepped on the gas to catch up. Paul's convoy realized that they were being followed. They immediately prepared their weapons. Unfortunately, Lin Shang was a step ahead. The car at the end of the convoy was blown up on the spot. Paul's men recognized it as Lin Shan's car. He used to be the top assassin of the intelligence bureau. But isn't this guy retired? Cui Guozhang shamelessly replied. He used to be under my command, but because the retirement severance was insufficient, now he has to take on extra jobs to make ends meet. Paul knew this guy was tough, so he sent the superhuman Attai to deal with Lin Shang. Attai faced gunfire and bullets. He kicked Lin Shang's car away. At the same time, Paul arrived at Cui Guozhang's secret base. His men stormed into the building. They massacred Cui Guozhang's men. A foreign superhuman led the way. Wherever they went, no one survived. Cui Guozhang's right-hand man nervously watched the surveillance. They could open the safe any moment now. They must not abandon their previous efforts. Unexpectedly, Paul quickly arrived outside the secret room. The superhuman foreigner pulled open the iron door. The second-in-command stood still by the safe. Paul realized something was amiss. He went forward to inspect. The box was indeed empty. Even Cui Guozhang looked shocked.
아이 씨발 왜 나를 볼까? 어? 아 나 진짜 몰라.
On Zijing's side, while Attai went to inspect the overturned car, the people inside had already vanished. The next second, Zijing, hidden in the bushes, fired her gun. She was about to search for Lin Shang, when she couldn't see him. As a result, Attai got up and kicked Zijing again, and he tightly grabbed her neck. Not letting go, Zijing drew a knife and cut Attai's wrist. He winced in pain and kicked her away. Just as Attai was about to harm Zijing, Lin Shang, hidden in the shadows, finally opened fire. He fired several shots in succession before relaxing. However, Zijing encountered a major problem. During the fight, that sample shattered, and its contents got into her body. Lin Shan looked shocked at this sight. How did the sample end up in you? Without much thought, he quickly aimed his gun at Zijing. On the other side, Paul was very angry. He wanted to, in front of Cui Guozhang, execute one by one his subordinates and others, to force them to reveal the whereabouts of the sample. But the problem was, Cui Guozhang truly didn't know where the sample was. The next one to die will be Yen Moyon. He urgently said, it must be Zijing. Only she can unlock the code within 3 minutes. Zijing charged over with Lin Shang. The two of them seemed to have reached some agreement. Surprisingly, they did not turn on each other first. At this moment, Zijing had fully absorbed the sample reagent. She stormed into the lobby. The superhuman man ignored her bullets, directly knocking Zijing away. However, Zijing's bones inexplicably healed in a strange manner. The man struck back with a knee, lifting Zijing into the air. Once again engaging in a thrilling action scene, it was still the familiar formula, the familiar taste. The man exerted force to hurl Zijing towards the building. Meanwhile, on Lin Shang's side, he rushed into the hall, swiftly taking down Paul's men, and pointing the gun directly at his head. Cui Guozhang moved Paul's gun aside. He knew that the other party wouldn't dare to shoot. However, Cui Guozhang wasn't afraid of affecting the South Korean-American relations. He signaled for Lin Shang to act. He injured Yen Moyon's leg again, as Lin Shang had promised Zijing that Yen Moyon's fate would be in her hands. Zijing was thrown into the hall. Cui Guozhang, upon seeing her condition, immediately realized that Zijing had been infected by the tyrant. The man caught up and engaged in combat again, marking a clash of transformation technologies between South Korea and the United States. The man's health bar was indeed thick, trading blows with Zijing back and forth, even landing a blow to her neck. Unfortunately, Zijing's recovery speed was too rapid, ultimately enduring the attacks and killing the man. She then shot and killed Yen Moyong. Next, it was time to settle the score with Lin Shang. They agreed to find Yen Moyong first, before making a final decision. But before Zijing could act, Cui Guozhang suddenly ordered the lights to be turned on. The light burned Zijing. Lin Shang took the opportunity to shoot at her. He explained that the tyrant's weakness was bright light, as currently, no one could adapt to it. But after the tyrant is injected into the body, it takes over the host's brain and invades their DNA, so it must be destroyed before things get out of hand. However, Zijing's performance exceeded expectations. She actually managed to suppress the tyrant and defeat Lin Shang. Cui Guozhang glanced at his watch, warning Zijing that dawn was approaching, advising her to find a dark place to hide. From now on, you are state property. Director Shi arrived with a large group of armed men at this moment.
빨리 가라. 떨어지면 너도 죽고 우리도 다 죽어.
In the end, Zijing obediently fled. Director Shi, seeing that Paul was dead, no longer concealed his identity. He was actually a spy from the first group, here this time for the tyrant. Just then, gunshots rang out from behind. Lin Shang broke free from his restraints and killed his way to the rear window, then leaped off the cliff. Director Shi wanted to take Cui Guozhang back for questioning, even if it meant smashing his brain. It is also necessary to uncover the whereabouts of the tyrant. Cui Guozhang actually chose to commit suicide. Now, no one knows where the tyrant is. Cui Guozhang, with his life, guarded the nation's ultimate weapon. The film ends here. Although it was split into 4 episodes and renamed, it is clearly part of the Witch series. Finally explained the origin and name of the gene. Although Cui Guozhang looks fierce, he is actually a patriotic youth. The plot and action scenes are all acceptable. If you like my channel, please give me a subscription.